I don't know. I would hope that that didn't hit Inosuke's heart. Regardless, he's poisoned.
I don't even know if, like, how could a wound like that not
kill you?
Even if it wasn't in your heart? Because, like, what's next to your heart? Like, your lungs. There's other organs in the body that if they got, like, pierced all the way through like that, probably not good. Hopefully he was doing what Tanjiro had to do in, like, a Mugen Train. You know, kind of, like, close up all the nerves, like, around the wound. But this was, like, he obviously maybe didn't even have time to think about doing that because this was so sudden. The worst thing I've ever seen.
I don't know what to say.
When this is over, I'm gonna go hug my Inosuke plush.
I'm trying to think, like, if unless somebody else shows up, I cannot think of any possible way we win this. Inosuke's down. I think Zenitsu might be okay. He definitely pushed Tanjiro out of the way. I don't know if that's at his own cost. Tanjiro is beaten and battered. He's already pushed himself beyond the brink.
That was like 3 episodes ago. He had already pushed himself.
Nezuko's done.
That's what I'm wondering. Is she like done?
The only way that I think that she isn't is because there's no other options, because
right, exactly.
Uzui's down.
Like, what are the other options other than like Hinatsuru going to get Suma and Makio, you know?
Yeah, like Tengen with 2 arms at 100% couldn't do it.
Well, he wasn't even at 100% because he was poisoned.
Sensu beans don't exist in this world. There's like no instant fix. It sucks because like we keep seeing demons get their legs cut off, like you were saying, or their arms cut off and they heal. That's
like,
not humans don't have that
to it, you know?
Humans don't have that benefit.
It's like when you're watching it, it's like hard to remember that the laws of the universe aren't solely like regeneration and that it's literally humans and demons.
It's just not fair. It's not a fucking fair fight. Man,
And then it wasn't that like Zenitsu pushing them out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Zenitsu is like top tier when he's like this, man. Like his deep his voice is amazing. The way that he's thinking is amazing. He's always on guard, knows what to do. I hope he's okay here.
They all worked so well together too. Like, come on, why couldn't that have been successful? Like,
I was literally sitting there thinking, it might sound stupid because power scaling exists, but these 3 could do and accomplish anything that they wanted. Like, I was sitting here thinking that, and I was so hyped up, and fuck, man.
We had Inosuke saw her head off.
That was
saw
brutal.
Her head off. Like, she was like, what are you gonna do with these? What did she call them? His swords, like, messed up or something? She said something else. And in my head, I was like, he wanted them to be that way on purpose, you know? Like, because didn't he say it could, like, tear flesh easier?
Yeah. Like, Tanjiro keeps saying, like, if only I could do more, I can't be a burden, if only I can do this. Tanjiro's fucking doing a lot, man. Like, he has gone past, like, his limit, like, 10 times over. He's combined fucking breathing techniques now, and he can use water and Hinokami together.
Yeah.
Like,
he can't see it, though, unless he's able to save everyone.
Yeah, and, like,
it's like, obviously, it's not enough, you know?
I don't know.
People are laying dead, and his friends are dying around him.
I don't know how we... Like, the last words were, sorry, Nezuko. So in one sense, I'm like, Nezuko could help, right? But we already saw, like, her at her peak, and she couldn't even control herself. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how we win. And I fucking hate the fact that I have to wait a week to know how.
Yeah, you're right on that. Like, this is one of those instances where I'm like, normally I kind of like, in a way, I kind of like have... Why do you guys show me that?
Fuck, I'm sorry. Go on.
Normally, it's kind of fun to wait a week, because then we have talked about how it, like, opens up our analysis even more, because, like, during the week, we're, like, talking about different things that have happened, and we're realizing things we didn't necessarily realize in the 20 or so minutes of the show. And so, like, in that way, I enjoy having to wait a little bit, because I feel like I understand what happens a lot more, and I'm able to unpack what I saw. But in this instance, this would be one of those times, that we would just be like, next episode.
How does Tengen get, like, is Gyutaro that strong? Like,
in my, like, hopeful fantasy for the end of this. So, Hinatsuru, we had some flashbacks of Tengen's thinking about how Hinatsuru wanted them to all basically live a normal life after they defeated
like
an upper rank
kind of.
and retire. And I'm like, okay, he lost a hand. He could still be alive, but maybe he really actually couldn't work fully as a Hashira
It's motivation
anymore.
To retire.
It's motivation to retire.
But how the fuck do you get out of this?
We just need to live.
How the fuck do you live?
Like, we just need to for that to happen. That hopeful future of all of them together.
I am having a lot of trouble figuring out how to fucking be hopeful right now. One of my favorite moments, just like skimming through the quick play, was when after Tanjiro combined the techniques, and then we saw Tengen come back in, and he was like, "I'm grateful for you, Kamado Tanjiro." Mm-hmm. That was so great. Man, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, the only way Tengen could have gotten his arm cut off is if he's like distracted, or if he's doing something to like save one of the boys, or like save one of his wives. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Like, it seemed like he just got
in that battle. I mean,
he was being pushed to the brink. He was using everything he had, as like bombs and his like just.
If there wasn't a Gyutaro and Daki combination and it was just Gyutaro, I think this would have been over, and he would have been defeated because obviously
Tengen's
all the boys would have been able to help Tengen.
Do you think Tanjiro made the right call to like stick with?
That's a really good question.
Inosuke and Zenitsu,
because obviously he's doubting it right now. I don't think they would have been able to I don't think Inosuke would have been able to get right in front of Daki.
Agreed.
If it weren't for the effort of Zenitsu and Tanjiro to basically block off the belts to give him a runway. But at the same time, is it the right call? If someone dies because you chose that path, not like they should run away or anything, because obviously they shouldn't, and they're not going to. That's not like in their vocabulary.
The only
I don't think if he had stayed with Tengen that things would have been different.
It seemed like the only way Daki's head gets cut off there is if Inosuke has that clear path to run through, which wouldn't have been made unless Tanjiro was there. But I don't know.
What Tanjiro's already gotten pushed away by Tengen in situations with Gyutaro multiple times. So I'm like, maybe Tengen would have been able to create another opening, but they've already created like 5 different openings and none of them have succeeded. So I feel like it would have just been keep more of a game of having to push Tanjiro out of the way so he didn't get hurt. And it might have even resulted in Tanjiro feeling directly responsible for something happening to Tengen.
Man, I don't know how we get out of this. I think that this is purely like episodical, not counting Mugen Train. This might be the most like pessimistic I've felt leaving an episode.
Honestly, I think in the show in Demon Slayer, in Demon Slayer history, this is probably the most like pessimistic and
like Hinokami
worried,
like on episode 19, we left on a high note. We thought that Rui, right, was dead. And then we were like opened up with like, oh shit, he's not. And then we got the Giyu moment.
But what did we have? We knew that Giyu and Shinobu were around.
But we also ended the episode on like a high. We didn't end the episode on like he's actually still alive. You know what I mean?
Right. And we have freaking like mortal wounds happening to like Inosuke. Like, I can't think of how that wouldn't kill him.
There's no fucking way Inosuke dies, no?
In my mind, you can't. In my mind, I guess the Hashira are somewhat, I wouldn't want to say expendable, but in the story, I guess, and how the story's written, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro, and Nezuko, they're like the main characters. And I feel like all of the Hashira are kind of this, their kind of role in the story is to push the young ones into learning more, getting stronger, having more motivation to succeed, and it's like they're used in that way, like as plot devices. And I was really hoping that it didn't mean you had to kill all of the plot devices. Don't think you need to. I mean, you didn't kill Urokodaki, and like Giyu, and they're like plot devices of getting stronger and doing better. But it seems like the Hashira, I hope this isn't a trend.
I think we've been worried about that since we got introduced to Tengen, you know? And then
How could we not be worried that was a trend after Mugen Train?
And then the way that they start this episode, obviously, with like Tengen like being like, one day I'll be with you soon, brothers, kind of thing. Like, and then he said that he's going to hell. I don't know if that's just because of the flashy lifestyle he lived,
I
or
thought
something
it was
we don't know.
because of all the people they've killed. Like,
Probably
even
that
Hinatsuru
too.
brought
Yeah,
up
you're right,
when she was talking about wanting to live kind of a normal life after they
It
can't
won't,
really
like,
atone for like everything they've done.
You're very right. Can we try at least to speculate how we get out of this?
Okay.
The only people who know that we're here are Kanao, right?
Kanao knows. So Shinobu probably knows.
And
And now Shinobu probably knows.
that's the only thing. I'm trying really hard to think of it. I don't think anybody else we know.
Do they often send reinforcements though? Do the Demon Slayers send reinforcements?
What if Kanao was like, I want to go? What if like she was like, without the coin flip, was like, I want to go. I have a bad feeling, kind of thing.
Here's another question. We haven't seen any crows, but
Very
that doesn't
true.
mean the crows aren't watching. So the crows could have gone back to the master. The master could have dispatched another Hashira by now, maybe even. Maybe Shinobu and Kanao. Like, maybe.
I'm not trying, when I'm trying to think of other, like, ways out of this, I'm not trying to undermine the fact that Tanjiro's powerful, Uzui's powerful, Nezuka, everybody here is amazing. It's just the shape that everybody's in right now. It's hard to be optimistic.
It's hard with, like, how much, if they were all in their prime right this second, and, like, they were able to, like, sleep off, you know, any of this, even if Tanjiro had just, like, a freaking night's sleep, or even 30 minutes, I think he would be a lot better.
Yeah, but it's just right now.
And obviously, like, Nezuko, we know she had to literally kind of be put back into the box because it was just too much for her. So it would be, I feel like Nezuko could handle this situation, but unfortunately, I think that she wouldn't be able to come back from it. That's what they were worried about a few episodes, is if she kept going, that Tanjiro wouldn't be able to bring her back. And so I think she could handle this situation, but it couldn't be done in my mind because I don't think that it would basically be like losing a character to the dark side just to win.
Which I think Nezuko would do. Like,
She
even
would
if
do
she
anything
knew.
to save Tanjiro.
But, like, if there was a third party coming in to try to help, which I don't even know if they'd do that as, like, a story. But I also don't know if they'd have Nezuko come back out as a story, you know? Like, if the third party comes in, the only person that I could imagine it being is Shinobu and Kanao, because they're the only people we saw who knew they were going to the entertainment district.
Yeah.
What, Kanao, Shinobu comes not to save them. She doesn't come because Kanao's worried. She comes to take revenge upon Tengen for spanking her
Was
student.
it Aoi?
Yeah.
Ao, yeah.
Ow. I don't know, man. I'm trying to be optimistic or have some hope in my life right now, but it's really hard. That hurt. Like, Hinatsuru at least got out of there, seemingly. Hopefully she didn't have to see Tengen lose the arm. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Gyutaro saw Hinatsuru run away and then went after her.
No. They were still fighting.
Yeah.
By the time she ran away.
Maybe that was part of it, though. Like, Gyutaro, like, looked at her, saw her going away, lunged towards her, and then Tengen, like, got in the way and just kept fighting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything
I'm
now.
just trying to think of how Inosuke lives after that injury.
We don't have enough details, right?
Yeah, we don't, because we don't know if he was doing his breathing and like.
We don't know if he was actually hitting the heart. Regardless, if you, I would hope that he's not. I don't think he was hitting the heart. That being said, he'd still be poisoned and he'd still be brutally injured.
I have a feeling that Inosuke probably ate some weird stuff when he was in the wild and poisoned himself, and
Couple
now
times.
he's like a shinobi, you know. He like he already is not susceptible to poison as much.
So if man, what didn't Tanjiro get stabbed in Mugen?
He got but it wasn't all the way through, and it was like by like this like little
like dagger
screwdriver looking needle
This was
thing.
fucking brutal, bro.
And it was really thin in a small area. That's like a literal like
It's
inches, maybe
like,
even an inch thick. It's a big space.
It didn't feel real to me when it was happening. This whole sequence, I was like,
it
no.
did not feel real. Because I felt like there was no way. I'm like, you're not gonna just stab Inosuke. That's not real.
It's not even like, oh, we're gonna lose another Hashira. It's like we're gonna lose another Hashira and Inosuke
and
right
our
now.
friends, yeah.
And everybody. Like, the person in the best shape right now, seemingly, even though he's the one who pushed Tanjiro out of the way here, is Zenitsu, no?
Yeah.
Not saying he's in an amazing shape, but like he, you know.
Yeah. He says this happened because he wasn't paying attention.
It pisses me off a little bit because I don't think it's just that. I think there's so many factors. It's not just because he wasn't paying attention.
No one saw what was happening with Tengen because they were freaking busy.
Okay.
If they had even been distracted by what was happening with Tengen, they wouldn't have gotten Daki's head.
Anyway, Tengen cut his own arm off or something. Like do you see there's poison on his shoulder? That would be the opposite thing. If there was poison on his hand, maybe he did. But he's in horrible shape, man. How could he fight?
He's not even moving.
I don't think Tanjiro could do more, right? We've already seen him like go past his limits like 10 times.
The spirit of Rengoku comes and does something. Or Tengen was talking about the stone Hashira and the mist Hashira. Maybe they're just in the area.
But that's the thing. Like, then we couldn't predict that. We have no information to go off of. Then we just have, like, oh, that could, you know.
It's more just that they gave us little nuggets
about
those people recently. So, like, maybe that's why. Yeah, I can't think of how to fix this. But, like, I didn't write the story. So that kind of makes sense that I can't think exactly how it's going to get fixed.
We had some Gyu and Orokodaki.
I loved the idea that it just took, like, people racking their brains to be able to, like, come up with their own techniques to fit themselves better.
Yeah.
And make themselves stronger.
How do you think Orokodaki, like, would hold up?
Now?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe in his prime?
No, now.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really know a power level for him.
He was a Hashira, no?
Yeah, but I don't know, like, a current power level.
But I would assume you have to be a very strong Hashira to be able to survive.
Oh, survive into old age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
That or you were just lucky enough that you never came in contact with an upper rank.
Yeah. Very true. Very, very, very true. So do you think Tengen is trying to kill an upper rank as some sort of penance? Like knowing how many people die from an upper rank?
I wonder if his siblings were killed by an upper rank.
That or like the only equivalent or attempt at some sort of redemption for me for killing all these people is to kill something that kills tons of people throughout thousands of years.
To basically take like one hit at Muzan, you know?
Yeah.
Like killing a demon doesn't take any type of hit at Muzan, but like taking killing an upper rank, even though Muzan probably wouldn't even be phased by it, it's at least like the closest a human can get to feeling like they're like poking him a little bit, you know?
Okay. One last thing before I close out. I want to just kind of browse through the intro to see if there's any
thing that makes us feel like it's gonna be okay.
No, any hint that Tengen was gonna lose an arm.
Oh.
You know how they keep giving us like hints that we don't realize until after the fact?
So we've got some fireworks.
That was such a good like tease for his like power.
I know, it was wonderful. Both of his hands are in all of these shots.
I know, but
I know, I'm like waiting for it to be like maybe a little suspicious.
This is obviously his past, no?
I'm wondering if those are his siblings. Are those his siblings and he's the one that survived, or are those all people he's killed?
It's one or the other, because I think both of those could be totally legitimate options. But we haven't seen this, no?
No, we haven't seen this flashback.
which gives me some hope that there's still some fight in him.
Well, I don't know, because they like to take us backwards to show us what was happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's a flashback he had while the three were fighting Daki.
The mice come back.
The
They help.
mice.
They save the day.
That's what happens. Can't, like, if you, like, get to it soon enough, can't you, like, reattach, like, parts of the body? Like, if you put them on ice?
I don't know in this world.
I don't know. It's not always successful, but...
Okay.
They put Nezuko right before him in front of the grave.
No.
Is that not what you're getting at?
No. Where the fuck's his other arm?
Okay, that's kind of suspicious. But I don't know. He's sitting like this. So, like, his arms are, like, out.
His arm could be there.
It could be.
But it wouldn't have to be. Is it his right arm that he lost?
It was his,
No, he had his right arm.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. But that's suspicious, no? That could be some foreshadowing?
It could have been, yes. And he's not there with the wives, so it could be a different time he goes to visit.
It's not the flashback we saw.
It's not the flashback we saw. We didn't even talk about mixing Hinokami Kagura with water breathing.
It's nuts. Like, what else can you say? Obviously, like, Tanjiro had I'm sure that's what other people did, and that's why there are different variations to this day, you know?
So, like, and if his body can't fully handle, you know, the Hinokami Kagura full blast, techniques. Why not blend them? So the water breathing was something, like, balanced and defensive and, you know, like, why not make up his own?
Does it go combination, like, blended breathing techniques, Hinokami, or Hinokami blended breathing techniques?
Think about it this way. Could he master the Hinokami Kagura?
Maybe
not. Or it could have taken a huge toll on his body. Could he master and become stronger with something that doesn't take that massive toll out of his body?
Like, mixing the two could, like, get a better end goal, you know?
It could be a more successful in terms of succeeding against demons.
Yeah.
Because he can use Hinokami still as the effects of, like, burning.
Taking the breathing techniques that are best suited to them, you know, and modifying them into the form that would allow them to exert maximum power.
So he has to modify Hinokami Kagura because he can't fully use it. He's already said he wasn't born with the birthmark.
Yeah.
He wasn't born with the ability to fully use it. He wasn't chosen. And so he has to modify it.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty sick. Why is his scar changed, though?
It was an injury he had as a kid, and then he got it further injured later, and that's why it's changed. But I'm like...
There has to be something deeper, though. No? Like,
why that specific place?
Maybe after he got it the first time, then something, like, very far passed down from him, like, in, like, some offshoot of genetics, like, activated in him, or some, like...
Maybe. Part of me thinks it was just one of those, like, things by the author to kind of, like... make you think something was a certain way, because obviously his dad also had a scar in a similar area, and so that made us think that this was a birthmark on Tanjiro until we learned from Tanjiro that that's not the case.
Where do you think Gyu ranks up against Tengen? Gyu, if you're just joining with us now, like, first season, I was obsessed with Gyu. I still am obsessed with Gyu. But obviously he couldn't come in now to save the day. I don't see any story plot that would, like, give us that feeling. But do you think he would, like, be on the same level as Tengen? Better? Worse?
It's really hard to talk about that now when we're learning so much about different techniques and then different demons having different blood demon arts and obviously different defense, different attack. And I feel like each technique is suited for a different type of battle. And so I feel like I can't adequately say who's stronger because, you know, maybe a different Hashira would have done better against Gyutaru.
Mm-hmm. It's not about, like, having a flat-out power level and being just, oh, I'm stronger. It's like, you might be better at fighting this person when this person might be worse at it, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about the matchups, which is such a cool part of the show.
But obviously someone very, very strong could possibly overcome any type of shortcomings they have in terms of battling a certain demon.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Like, obviously, Tanjiro has kind of two techniques under his belt, and then he now can put them together. So he probably could then defeat different types of opponents even more.
At this point, are Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu just cursed? Whoever
they meet that's a Hashira
is destined to die.
I really hope. Like I said, I hope it's not a plot device thing, and that all the Hashira are supposed to like leave like messages and teach them things before they, and then their death then becomes even more fuel for the fire. I'm like, I really hope that's not the case for like all of them.
I wonder if Gramps and Orokodaki are ever gonna like come in to save the day at any point in the story. Like, can't you imagine like in a story way, like Zenitsu and Tanjiro literally about to die, and Orokodaki and Gramps give up their lives so that they survive? It would be fucking depressing.
Maybe. I mean, we have to revisit Gramps a little bit because there was a person that was training under Gramps as well.
It was like Zenitsu's Gyu.
Yeah, and we never really got to see who it was. And I feel like that person's gonna possibly be part of the story eventually.
Yes, and we also got Inosuke's little like hint at a backstory with his mother.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? We've been traveling with those two for like
I'm gonna be really
a while
pissed off
now,
if that doesn't like pay out.
And we haven't gotten like full actual. I feel like we've gotten a little bit more of a glimpse into Zenitsu's
Definitely.
like past. I mean, we know he was like bouncing around, falling in love with girls, and they were taking advantage of him and accruing massive debt. And then Gramps took him in, and he trained under Gramps, and then the lightning bolt, and
I wonder.
Was another person there.
You remember when I pointed out the Gyu has a similar pattern, if not the same pattern as
Sabito?
Sabito. I wonder if the guy who was training with Zenitsu had a pattern on his cloak.
He had I think he had some type of ornamental item on him, whether a necklace or something. I like vaguely remember there being something that I was like, I'm gonna watch out for something.
I'm pretty
that
sure we
like
wrote it down in our old
later
notebooks.
on.
Yeah.
And just by how he was talking to Zenitsu, I was like, this. I feel like I kept asking myself, does Zenitsu know all of the Hashira? What if this person is one of the Hashira?
What if it? Did we? I don't think we saw his face. Did we?
No.
It could be the one, the white-haired wind dude.
The wind Hashira?
I mean, Zenitsu wasn't at the meeting with the Hashira.
Exactly.
It could have been any of them.
It really could be any of them. That's what I'm thinking right now, is that... Because, like, obviously to get trained by... And obviously that person probably survived final selection. Maybe because they were older.
Trained by Gramps.
And they were trained, but, like...
Maybe.
Well, the only reason Urokodaki's students basically died is because that one demon had a vendetta specifically against Urokodaki. So
yeah.
I feel like it was not easy to survive during that, but if you're strong and none of the demons like specifically had a vendetta searching for you, especially the one that was mutated.
Yeah.
He was like the one that was, all of the others kind of looked rather normal demon. He was the only one that was like mutated. That
we saw for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where we go, man. I'm hopeless. But
yeah, I don't know either.
This week's gonna suck. Though. This week's gonna suck. I need to know.
This week is gonna be really hard. What if they like did something where they're like, oh, no episode this Sunday? I'd be like, going to get the manga.
No, I would do. Have you ever seen that episode of South Park when Cartman freezes himself because he doesn't want to wait like a week for the Nintendo Wii?
No, but it's relatable.
That's what I would do. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this video with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
He was being pushed to the brink. He was using everything he had as like... He was being pushed to the brink. He was using everything he had as like... He was being pushed to the brink.
He was being pushed to the brink.